Hello, my name is Opal Singleton. I'm the president and CEO of an organization we call Million Kids, millionkids.org. I hope that you will go on to millionkids.org and sign up for our newsletter. So today's presentation for you is a very short one, but one that I think is important. Many times people come to me and say, I see these massage parlors in my community, or I see a business that seems awfully suspicious to me. How can I tell, and what do I do if I think that they might be a front for commercial sex? Well, quite frankly, there are many different kinds of businesses that are being used for fronts and for commercial sexual services. The most common, of course, are massage parlors, but lately we've seen skincare businesses, an aromatherapy shop, even a cool sculpting shop. I couldn't believe it. And sometimes small bars or cantinas. So victims of human trafficking often come in the United States, and they come in with a work visa or a student visa. Others come in undocumented. Many of the victims of human trafficking are involved in sex and labor trafficking. They arrive from other countries. Many of them may have documentation. Others have crossed the border without documentation. Many may not speak English. They often don't even know where they are, and they are afraid that they might be deported or that their families back home might be being threatened or harmed. Many will be afraid to talk about it or cooperate even with authorities. Many victims of trafficking are forced to provide sexual services, and they often are not allowed to keep the money that they are being paid. So many will be afraid to even reach out or talk to anybody else about it. Some are in debt bondage, meaning that they are being charged for everything they do, all their food, their shelter, their bedding, and their protection. That is called debt bondage. So we've had a couple of cases right here in the Inland Empire in Riverside area of California of unaccompanied minors coming up from Mexico that were being forced to provide sexual services in businesses, commercial businesses, all the way from Oxnard all the way out to Palm Springs. As you can see, there were a wide variety of businesses that was the front for this sex trafficking. Here are a couple of others that have recently been closed down because of investigations for illicit sex. All of these are in California. I put these in so that you can see what kind of businesses they look like. This is a famous case out of Texas where a cantina, the entire upper floor of this cantina was being used for commercial sex and actually sex trafficking of minors. So let me make something very clear here. There are many legitimate businesses that are not fronts for selling commercial sex. I think nothing's better than a good massage, and there are some really great massage businesses in Southern California. Same way with skincare businesses, aromatherapy, cool sculpting, and things like that. So just because they're in that business does not make them illegitimate. There are many, many good businesses. So how can you tell the difference? Well, the first one is they don't have a normal menu of services like you might get at a normal massage company that is, especially if it's a national company. Services are usually very closed off, but again, many of your massage parlors are very closed off. The hours may be of operation, they may be unusually late. They may have a significant number of customers who are male, and instead of a front entrance, the entrance is on the side or the back. So usually the parking is often in the back. They may be advertising on sex sites, dating sites, and hookup sites. And in bars, there may be a private area that's closed off to the public with a limited amount of access for entrance and exits. Now, what do you do if you suspect a business is in front for illicit sexual activity? Number one, hear me out, folks. Number one, please do not enter the business. Do not go in there and go, what's going on in here? Or is this legitimate or not legitimate? Or peek through the windows. Don't do any of that. We don't want anything to alert them that somebody might be suspicious of what's going there. Number one rule for you is keep yourself safe. Stay away from it, take notes, and like that. It is best not to alert that business that you are concerned, because if you're going to turn this in for law enforcement, they need that element of surprise, and they also need time to be able to investigate it. So what not to do if you suspect a business is a front? It is important only that law enforcement conduct the investigation. No citizen arrests, okay? Do not get involved, just report. But make a note of the address and any features that you think are important in making a report about a business that you think might not be legitimate. You might want to contact your local code enforcement and file an inquiry. Keep in mind, it might take 2 to 3 or 4 weeks before they can get to it, but that's one way to have another organization take a look at it. Another is to contact your non-emergency number for your police department. Don't dial 911 for it unless somebody's in trouble, and then of course you will. But contact your non-emergency number and just say, I see this business at this address and it has some features that I think ought to be investigated. You can also report anonymously at 1-888-373-7888. 1-888-373-7888. To stop illegitimate businesses from being a front for illegal activity, you may want to consider contacting your local city council people and suggest to them that they consider passing an ordinance that states that any landlord who is rented or leased to a business that ends up being an illicit business, especially an illicit sexual business, cannot be re-rented or re-leased to a similar business for 2 years. I say that because so many of these massage parlors already have contracts in place in case they get shut down, then the next one comes along and reopens it. So that's a good thing to consider. I hope this information has been helpful to you. I thank each and every one of you that support the work of Million Kids or follow us on our newsletter. We have a dynamite newsletter. It comes out every week and it gives you all the latest cases. So if you want to keep yourself up to date, go to millionkids.org, sign up for that newsletter. And if you want to, while you're there, we can sure appreciate your donation and your financial support. You folks have a great week. Take good care. Do not go in those businesses, report them. And by the way, while I'm finishing this, understand that that business probably isn't going to close down in the next 2 or 3 days because you reported it. These investigations take quite a long time. They're very sophisticated, and oftentimes these businesses are connected to other businesses. So report it, turn it over. You've done your thing, move on with your life, but you've done a good thing. We'll see you next time on Million Kids